box of peppermint stick candy. Sometimes you get a box of cloves. And we got fruit from the gas company. The gas company would give Daddy a bushel of oranges.
Oh, cool.
Every year. And bucket candy. Chocolate drops. That was our candy.
What'd you get, Daddy, for candy?
For candy, really, I guess it's when family got together down at my mom and daddy's.
That's your mom and daddy's.
Yeah, and we'd exchange gifts, and after that, Daddy would go in back bedroom and bring out oranges and what kind of candy?
Bucket candy.
Yeah, kind of bucket candy, and just set it in the middle of the floor. And I look forward to eating that. We were married then, too, and I mean, which made no difference.
We did that when the kids were little, though.
Yeah.
What about when you were little, though?
About when you were little.
Oh. Actually, apple and oranges, Daddy worked in the cotton mill, and at Christmas they'd always give them a bag of oranges, a box, big old box of oranges for a bonus. And Daddy would bring them home. I guess I don't know about the candy. I doubt we got much candy, but had plenty of oranges.
Oh, Mama Mixon always baked a coconut cake.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sit at her dining room table and polish silver for us to use her silver for Christmas.
Cool. Cool. So what about when we were kids? How did you guys manage Christmas with the money that you made?
Your daddy always got a big bonus.
Oh.
So we managed Christmas with that bonus every year. He got a bonus twice a year, one at Christmas and one in the early summer.
Mm.
So all of that was spent on your kids. Y'all usually had a good Christmas.
So did you have a favorite Christmas? I know Daddy said he got his bicycle that Christmas. Did you have a favorite one?
No, because we didn't get anything special ever.
No.
Just the dolls.
I don't know, but every Christmas, downtown Canton, that was in 75 probably, Kessler's had their toys downstairs. You go in Kessler's store,
Mm-hmm.
and you go down the steps, and we'd go down there and buy you Christmas and put it on layaway, and they'd keep it the day or two before Christmas. We'd go pick it up and pay them. And but as far as telling you what you got, I don't know. You know.
Michael got that little motorcycle that time.
Yeah.
That little yellow one.
That was awesome.
That was your biggest Christmas, wasn't it?
That was my biggest Christmas. Yeah.
And one year you got the keyboard.
Motorcycle was great. And tell what happened when I got that motorcycle, Daddy.
Yeah, no, well, listen to this.
Well, he was riding it, pulled it up the driveway, and I decided I'd try it out. So I got on it, going down the mill road, and there's some loose gravel on the road, and here come a car. And I said, I either hit that loose gravel or hit a car. So I hit that loose gravel, and it skinned me up, skinned my elbows, and
Your face.
yeah, and I had glasses on, and it skinned my glasses and my nose, and it was pretty rough for a day or two.
No, you wouldn't believe what he looked like when he came in the house. The mill road wasn't paved then, it was just gravel.
I can imagine.
Yeah, we kept waiting for him to come back, and we're like, he should be back by now. And the next thing we know, we see him walking up the road
With the motorcycle.
like pushing it, not riding it. And he was just covered in blood all over his face and everything else. He's like, nope, not again.
What was your reaction?
I'm pretty sure we all laughed.
I'd be like, oh my god, that happened.
And one time, I came home from the bank early one day for some reason. I thought I needed to come home. And well, before I got to the four-way stop or the roundabout on 369 and 372, I met this little boy riding his motorcycle on 372 going toward ball ground.
Yeah.
That little boy got in trouble.
We're talking about Christmas right now, okay? So,
Well,
any other Christmas memories you guys can remember?
That's about it for me.
nothing in particular, except we always had icicles on our tree, and Mother wouldn't let us stand back and throw them. We had to put them on each one
Oh, wow.
separately. And
What kind of trees did you guys have?
we had to get out on the dirt roads. We'd go over where East Cherokee is now, going toward Ball Ground, and there were a lot of dirt roads off of that road. And Scott Road was one of them. But all those old dirt roads, we'd drive around and hunt a Christmas tree on the side of the road, and Daddy would cut it down. And the Brooks, the old farm place, had cedar trees, and Daddy always liked the cedar. So we'd go over to Sammy's old place and cut down the cedar tree.
What about you, Daddy?
It's the same thing, just about it. We got ours in the woods too. We usually cut the top out of one. Daddy liked to always cut the top off one because they're kind of skinnier, and prettier. And we'd bring it home, fill it full of icicles.
Didn't have very many ornaments.
I remember when we were a kid,
Didn't have a whole
we would
lot
go
of
to the woods
ornaments,
sometimes
just
when I was a kid.
But
One thing I loved about Pop and Granny's Pop and Granny West tree when I was a kid was it never changed from year to year because he would. What would he do?
they wouldn't undecorate the tree. They would take the ornaments off. They would take the tree and put it up,
No, I remember.
and then pull it back out.
Yeah,
That's what my ex-boss did this year.
And Lucy's got those old retro ornaments. She got
does.
those. She got those. The top end of the tree. Remember how ugly that thing was? Lucy got it.
The bird's taking a nap, sorry.
Does she still have my my horse?
I bet one of the boys did.
I want my horse back.
Okay.
They can have the wagon because Papa made the wagon,
I'll
but
ask.
Papa stole that horse from me when I was a kid. He manipulated me
Okay.
and took that horse from me when I was a
I'll
kid.
see if one of them's got it. See if I can get it.
Yeah.
Mother always baked a lot at Christmas.
So what did they bake? What was your normal Christmas meal?
Normal Christmas meal. Mother didn't do turkey. She usually had chicken. And Thanksgiving, we always killed a hog. Daddy D killed a hog, our hog. And we worked meat up all day, and Mother usually cooked tenderloin for Thanksgiving.
What about yours?
usually Daddy had a bunch of yard chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And he would put one or two up, you know, fatten them up, and would usually have chicken. Either fried or baked, I forgot which one. But that's what we eat. Naturally, she'd cook her dressing, and I would go with it.
Mother always did her refrigerator fruitcake. Always. I can't remember when I didn't have
And it's the
a
same
refrigerator
recipe you
fruitcake.
use?
No.
No.
Nope, I don't have her recipe. She used carnation milk and marshmallows. And it was so gooey, she had to wet her hands to keep it from sticking on her hands. But with the condensed milk, it's not like that. It's not as good either. And Mama thought she was in heaven when she got her silver Christmas tree with the rotating light. No, have you ever seen one of those?
No.
It's a metal Christmas tree. Silver metal Christmas tree.
Interesting.
and there's a light that's about this big around, and it has red, green, blue colors on it, and it turns. And as it turns, that light reflects off of that Christmas tree.
Yeah. Seems interesting.
It's really ugly.
So what was the worst Christmas you guys can remember?
What would it have been?
I don't remember.
Well, that's good.
I don't reckon we ever had any bad Christmases.
Good.
Everybody was well. But we didn't have a whole lot. Well, we had as much as everybody else because nobody else had much either. But we always had food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Mama would see to that. She'd fix lunch, a big spread, and leave it on the table, and get a tablecloth and throw it over the food.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd eat the same thing for supper, I call it, as we had for dinner, which was very good. Usually it was cornbread and beans one night and beans and cornbread the next night. And potatoes. She called them fried taters, which was real good. And cornbread. And I guess as far as today, that would still be my favorite meal.
Really?
Yep, cornbread and beans.
Good, I was
And beans and cornbread.
Oh, another thing about Christmas, Brooke and Ted always bought their Christmas tree. They went to Atlanta and bought it. That's the only place you could buy Christmas trees.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else went out in the woods and cut them. And we thought they had the grandest Christmas tree in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They had bubbling lights. They were the only people we knew of who had bubbling lights, and we thought they were super. But everybody thought Ted and Brooke were just something else when they had their Christmas trees.
Mm. Well, is there anything else that you guys would like to add about Christmas from your past, or present, or future?
Did it snow a lot more back then than now?
No, the biggest snow, anything that I remember even staying out of school for, I can't remember us ever staying out of school for snow.
Really?
But when I was in, it was either, I think it was the 10th grade, and we had to walk from the house out to where the corner cafe is now.
Oh, wow.
Tom Smith's old store was out there, and we had to walk out there every morning to catch the high school bus. And one morning it was sleeting, and it was coming down pretty hard. And we got out there, and they told us the school had been called off. So the ground was slick as ice, as glass by the time we got home. School was out for over a week.
Wow.
Daddy was driving the gas truck. He drove for 3 days straight without any sleep, without coming home, resting, just long enough to eat and hit the road again. That was it.
Wow. Everybody loved him as their gas man,
Yeah,
right?
because if you couldn't afford to pay for your gas, if you had owed a gas bill, he couldn't haul gas to you. So people who didn't have any money got out of gas. But Daddy didn't care one way or the other.
He'd fill it up.
They got gas.
They got gas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Tell about that time, Daddy, that it was snowing and you went down Old Mill Road into Highway 20.
no, listen to this.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of snow on the ground. But I was in a Volkswagen, 74 Volkswagen, and I thought it'd go in.
It was not a 74. It hadn't even gotten to 74. Michael wasn't born.
What does that have to do with
You
anything?
want to tell us then?
It was more like a 63.
Okay, 63 then. I know I had a 74 one time.
And Jim Turner had a grocery store where Poland's air conditioning is now.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to the grocery store. We loaded the kids in the car.
She's telling it.
And he got to the top of the hill, Noah, just right across from the mill road, and it was a steeper hill back then than it is now. And we just slid right on into Highway 20. The car didn't stop, and Papa's cousin hit us. It cut Papa's nose across here, and he had to have stitches in it. It broke that front tooth. I had to have a crown put on it.
Wait, so a coincidence happened? Like, out of all people, it was his cousin or what?
I guess so. And he carried us to the hospital.
Ouch.
And Tanya had some cuts. They picked some glass out of her little chin.
Oh, you told me
But,
this story a
yeah.
long time ago. I remember. Well, I don't remember it happening, but
Yeah,
you know,
but that was pretty much it. Volkswagen was totaled. They won't go in the snow.
Okay, Papa,
They
you
won't
have
go in
to,
the snow. They will stop.
Papa, you have to tell the story real quick about the first time you got pulled over by the state patrol. You have to tell that again.
Well,
No, listen to this.
kind of funny, but it scared me to death. Yeah, I'd had my license about a week or two, and I was coming up. We lived right on top of Smithwick Hill, and I was coming up Smithwick Hill, and I met this state patrol. So the state patrol turned around and came back and stopped me. I thought, what did I do? I was running normal speed, and he said, he come up to my window and said, "Hey there," said, "how about getting out of the car?" I didn't know what I'd done, but I got out of the car. He said, "Oh, I see now." Said, "When I met you," said, "I could just barely see the top of your head." And that state patrol, he said, "Have you ever considered sitting on a pillow so you can see out better?" I said, "No, but you convinced me of it." I said, I'll do that." So I rode from then on for a while, sitting on a pillow, and I'll never forget that. That
So
was,
is that we're just
that
talking
was
about-
interesting.
I was just about to say that, so you forgot that lesson then. Because Michael, we were behind y'all today, and Michael said, "Is that Mom and Daddy?"
All I
He said,
all I
"All I
can
see is
see
seats."
were seats. I couldn't see any heads, just seats.
Oh, and no, when I was learning to drive, we had a 48 Chevrolet. And we were going down we were going down the Union Hill Road. You know where it is? That goes out by Mont's old house. Anyway, we were going down that road, and we turned at Charlie Owens. When we turned at Charlie Owens, instead of hitting the brake, I hit the clutch. So we ended up in a ditch.
Oh, gosh. So you didn't have your license yet. You were just learning
No,
how
I
to
was
drive.
learning to drive.
Gotcha.
Daddy didn't teach us to drive.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't teach Mother to drive either, but I can understand why. He would go, the old ballpark was behind the cotton gin over there where Cherokee Market is. It was the back end behind that, the old ballpark was.
Mm-hmm.
And Daddy would carry her to the ballpark where she had nothing that she could hit. And she still didn't learn to drive. He gave up. But back then, not many women did drive. Monk, Almer, and Ted were about the Ethel Latham
Mm-hmm.
were about the only ones who drove in Lathamtown.
So tell me about Ted's Christmases.
Ted's, I told you about the tree. Oh. Me? Tell you about Ted's Christmas?
Well, not just Christmases, but just Ted in general. I used to go over there, and they were.
She paid me $10 one time to help her wallpaper her living room.
Oh.
And we like to go over there and play with Brookie and Jean because we could go in their bedroom and build paper doll houses, and we could leave them up for a month, and Dad didn't care. Mother wouldn't let us.
So I understand you guys were the first ones in basically well, almost the first ones in the Cotton Mill Village who had TV.
We were the first ones.
You were the first
And
ones.
the way we got it, I was kind of Daddy's pet.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretended that I was sick. I had a stomachache. And he was petting me. And I told him I wanted a TV.
So that's how you guys got the
That's how we
TV.
got the TV. He walked up to Paul Boring's store,
Mm-hmm.
which is where the Chamber House is now, and got a TV.
Because you were pretending
Because
like you
I
were
was
sick. Wow. When did you guys get your first TV, Dad?
I don't remember. But there wasn't but a few that had the TVs back then when I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a great uncle, Uncle Levi. He had a TV. We didn't have one, couldn't afford to buy one, I reckon. And every Sunday night at 8 o'clock, Hopalong Cassidy, he was my favorite cowboy. Daddy would carry us out to Hopalong Cassidy's and watch, Uncle Levi's and watch Hopalong Cassidy. And after that, the Ed Sullivan show come on. We sat, watched it. And then when it was over, we got up and come back home.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody back then went to bed pretty early, you know.
Mhm.
And 10 o'clock would have been late for them to set up.
Ted and Brooke were the only people in Lathamtown who had a TV.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove from Canton on Sunday nights to watch TV at Ted and Brooks.
Mm.
And Bradford Bell, I guess Bradford Bell was the first. He had one before Ted and Brooke. He had the first TV that anybody ever saw in Lathamtown.
Really?
Yeah, and his store, he had a store, and it was where the Harvester House used to be.
Hmm.
And that's where I saw my first TV.
Gotcha. So what else was the first you had at Ted and Brooks?
3 out of 5 stars out of 5 reviews.
Oh, Ted cooked pancakes, and nobody else cooked pancakes around. And she had log cabin syrup, and it was in the little log cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought that was the neatest thing.
Cool.
And they had a chicken house and a cow stall and a hog pen. And we cleaned those out, and that's where we played Playhouse.
Hmm.
Ted was a beautician and learning, and she had electric perms. Andrea, do you know what an electric perm is? Oh my gosh. It's this thing, and it has wires that come down, and at the end of each one of those wires is a curler. And, well, you roll the curls with regular perm curlers.
And you had
And then you
your
bring
head.
these wires down and you clip them to those curls that you've got in
Oh
your
my
hair.
word.
And they heat to activate that perming solution.
Wow.
You wouldn't believe it. She experimented on all of us kids. And her heads would almost blister. And we'd have the frizziest burnt hair when she got through with us. I mean, it was unbelievable. But Brookie still has it.
Really?
Ow.
Hmm.
Google electric perms when you
I
get
will.
through.
I will.
But
Oh.
I can't think of much of anything else, really.
So, Daddy, tell about when you first started to learn how to play fiddle.
That goes back a long ways. Mama always had a radio in the kitchen so she could listen to, Daddy liked Amos and Andy and stuff like that. But while she was cooking, she'd play music, and I was about 6 years old, and Mama told me this. Said, I don't remember it, but she said that if they ever a fiddle come on the radio in a band and somebody played the fiddle, said she could hear my footprints coming from the bedroom, everywhere I was at, and said I'd stand there right in the front of that radio till that fiddle player got through. Then I'd turn around and run back. So I went on and I played in the high school FFA string band. Me and two more brothers, one played the mandolin, one played the guitar. and we went to several contests. We were good at starting and stopping together. So we won first place at Cartersville, first place at Chatsworth, first place somewhere else. And it give us a chance to go to the state contest, which was in Covington. So we went to Covington. Anyway, let's go back. That last time we won, that gave us a chance to go to Stars Tomorrow, Freddie Miller Stars Tomorrow. It was a performance show, TV show, and so we was all scared to death, but we went on TV, and we played and did real well. Anyway, we were going back to the Covington where they had their state contest. We thought we did real good. There's about 6 or 8 bands there. And we thought we did real good, and our school teacher was with us, and he thought we did good. So here come the judge, and they judged, and it was this one band came out there. It was about 16 in the band. And some of them played the old cones with paper on it, and they had the old rub boards, scrub boards, and just this and that. Worst racket we thought we'd ever heard. But anyhow, they beat us out of that contest.
Oh, wow.
And we thought that was the awfulest thing in the world. They couldn't stay together, their timing was off.
Mm-hmm.
And but the judges give it to them.
So what did your sisters think about when you first started playing fiddle?
Well, they didn't. I tell you what, when I first got my fiddle, I'd go to the bedroom and shut the door, start playing it. And I got 2 sisters, Marilyn and Lucy. They opened the door one day and took off, went to the kitchen, said, "Mama, something's gonna have to go with that squeaking fiddle." Said, "He's worrying us to death with that squeaking fiddle." Said, "We can't stand it no more." Kind of hurt my feelings. I thought I was doing good, but evidently not. Anyway, after that, my daddy had an old barn. Had a barn loft up the top with steps on it. You climb up in it.
Mm-hmm.
After school, every day after school, I'd get my fiddle, take off to the barn, climb up them steps with my fiddle, and I'd play for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Because Marilyn and Lucy wasn't around, they couldn't stop me.
Mm-hmm.
I was right there by myself. And that's really where I learned to play. A lot of people, they asked me, a lot of people have asked me since then. Some people would have known better, but they'd say, "What's the difference in a fiddle and a violin?" But I'd tell them there's no difference in them at all. It's just the way this played. I said, a violin, you learn to play it in an orchestra, something like that. I said, you learn to play a fiddle in Daddy's barn loft.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's all I got to say about that.
So, okay, I know when you guys were kids, when you were injured or something like that, you didn't necessarily go to the hospital or see a doctor and all that kind of stuff. So I know, Daddy, you had whooping cough when you were a kid and almost died, but Mama, what about you? Any injuries you probably should have gone to the hospital for, but you didn't?
And, well, we didn't ever even tell Mother and Daddy when we got hurt. Didn't do any good. I mean, they wouldn't have carried us to the doctor. There was one time, Hoke and we melted lead in batteries. We get the lead out of batteries and melt it in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one time I dropped lead on my finger right
Mm-hmm.
there. And it almost